Guys, it's the return of Coach James Gogue on War Week Boxing.
Holdings proudly presents War Week Radio with 5-decade fight trainer, Coach James Gogue.
Well, I tell you what, guys, welcome. Happy Sunday to all of you guys. And if it's Sunday night and there's a big fight looming this Saturday, that means we're talking to Maestro James Gogue. James, how art thou, sir?
Hey, Joe, I'm doing good. We got a lot to talk about. A lot of big fights coming up, the beginning of next year. We had, a lot of good fights that just happened. A lot of things are happening in the boxing world. Top Rank. I heard their last fight is in in July or June.
In June. Yep.
So they're going to be, they're hustling to get another network date right now. Because if they don't, they're going to be the same situation as Al. And I can see them releasing a lot of fighters. I know they've released a lot of.
Okay, there you are.
Yeah, they released a lot of fighters, I heard. And if they don't get something happening where they get a lot of TV dates, they're going to release some more, from their stable and everything. Because, you got a stable like that. They got 40, 50, 60 guys. And if you ain't got the TV days to keep guys busy, you got to get rid of the dead weight, the guys that they don't think have a high ceiling. And they released a few of them.
Coach Gogue,
I found out. What's that?
Okay, I got you. Keep going, sir. For some reason,
what's going on? Is the problem with the volume?
No. I'm having problems with my computer here. Hold on.
All right.
Okay, there we go. Okay, I think we got it back on, guys. My apologies. Look. Yeah, Top Rank, from what I'm being told, there's a very good possibility that they could be on Netflix next year, which would be a great thing, because I tell you what, I'm sure they're sick and tired, Gogue, of having to wait till their main event comes on after midnight on the East Coast because of college football.
Well, Joe, I heard they're negotiating with DAZN too, so I don't know what's up. I don't know. These internet.
Well, look, they already have an agreement with Turki Al-Sheikh, and Turki Al-Sheikh loves DAZN for some strange reason, even though they still have less than 500,000 subscribers in the American market.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would you want to be in bed with that? Look, the future is in Netflix. We all saw that earlier, last month?
Yeah.
It's like, why would you want to continue to obscure the product even further?
Well, that'd be interesting. If they could get a deal with Netflix, that'd be very, very interesting. Could that be probably the first promoter that would get a contract with a set of guaranteed TV, network, platform dates to keep their guys busy. But, it's going to come down to the same old shit in boxing, man. When you want to make good matchups, they're going to have two different networks you got to deal with, and that's where the problems occur. That's the biggest roadblocks in making these fights happening. Besides these fucking fighters, you know what I mean?
Yep. And I tell you what, it's going to be interesting, guys, because once again, it's like no one watches DAZN except for the diehard fans, and they're not paying for anything unless you
Yeah,
truly believe that there are less than 500,000 diehard fans remaining in the American market.
yeah.
I mean, this is just a real quandary. So let's just hope that they get the big stage on Netflix, because that's where the next big star of boxing will come from then. With
Yeah, well,
with the news of Tank Davis stating that he only has 3 more fights left and then he's out of the business because he can't stand it. That's not good. Canelo is obviously on his way out. His former opponent just got flattened last night by a layup provided by Brad Goodman in his homecoming in Tijuana. He gets KTFO'd. I mean, he tries to get up, but he got knocked out by a guy with only 4 knockouts last night on ESPN, Gogue.
yeah,
What a
yeah,
shocker. Everyone's calling it knockout of the year and upset of the year.
yeah.
25-0 with only 4 knockouts, delivers the one-hitter quitter to the, well, formerly granite-chinned Jaime Munguia. Coach Gogue, is this the end of Jaime Munguia's career and his golden boy laughing their asses off at this time?
Well, Joe, when you get, I've been I've been a critic of his defense for the last 5, excuse me, the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
The guy has not improved 1 ounce on in knowing how to defend himself against his opponent's punches. He gets hit with everything. He's easy to hit, and sooner or later that's going to catch up to you. Okay, because that equilibrium in your head, which controls your balance. Once that's broken, your chin becomes very suspect. Once you get hit in the future, my experience, when you fight and you get hit on that chin, your punch resistance is not going to be that high like it used to be before. So there could be a good possibility in the future. When he gets hit on that chin, he's not going to be able to take those punches. When you get knocked out, when you got a guy like that, accumulation of punches he's taken in his career, not only in the live fights, but probably in sparring, eventually it's going to come back to haunt you. It's going to bite you in the ass, and it did last night.
Well, just ask Roy Jones Jr. Once you crack that rock, it's never the same, is it, Coach?
Yeah, perfect example. Perfect example.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that was a shocker to everyone last night. But keep in mind, who was making the call last night? This is what little priority was had for this event. It was Christina Poncher and Chris Algieri making the call. That's what ESPN thought of this. Now, once again, the writing was on the wall with Joe Tessitore signing a deal with WWE. And WWE is going to be on Netflix. In my opinion, don't be shocked if you see Top Rank on Netflix next year. In my opinion, that's exactly where they're going. Look, and just from speaking with the brass at Top Rank, some of the guys who are going to remain nameless at this time, I'll tell you who it is afterwards. And I think you have a pretty good idea right now who it is, Gogue.
Yeah.
But they're saying, yeah, we're negotiating with several, but we're very hopeful and optimistic that we're going to get we're not going to skip a beat, is what he said. And this should prove to be a very good look for the future of boxing and Top Rank moving forward. And you know what, Bob Arum, they always conduct their business and say, hey, we're going to do what's best for Top Rank. And Bob Arum is still that guy, guys. And once again, he's got a great product. And You can't tell me that they're, excuse me, that they're not going to miss having to wait to put on their main events until after college football's done. So, Gogue, your final thoughts on Top Rank's future in the American market?
They've been around over 50 years. You know, they've been probably the most dominant, consistent promoter, you know, since I've been around. So I'm pretty sure they got great people that work at at the office, you know, Hall of Famers. They know what the hell they're doing. They'll find a landing spot, which is going to be very, very beneficial to the company and their fighters.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, Coach Gogue, before we rattle off the tail of the tape for Tyson, Luke Fury, and get your official preview for this big event coming up, I'll tell you what, let's get caught up and get your thoughts on recent events in the world of boxing. Okay, last weekend, we saw a dreadful fight on DAZN in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Liam Perro loses his title in an absolute snoozer to Richardson Hitchens. Coach Gogue, maybe I'm being a little too critical, but I'm sorry. I am never going to tune in unless he's fighting Pitbull Cruz or someone who's going to put serious pressure on him. I'm not interested in fighting or seeing Richardson Hitchens fight ever again. Your thoughts on the new IBF title holder at 140 pounds?
The fight was in Australia, Joe, not Puerto Rico.
Okay. No, it was in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Okay, I would have sworn it was in.
That's why there was only 1,500 people in the audience.
Okay, I would have sworn it was in Australia. I don't know.
That would make sense. But no, this is Eddie Hearn in another market besides the UK in which he's clueless.
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was in Australia, but anyway, you know, Hitchison, you know, bad stuff. You know, that's a tough style to beat for a guy like Leon Perro, a guy that likes to stay on the outside and box and counterpunch. You know, move. Then when you got a guy who's bigger, has more length, more athleticism, you know, fast, sharp combinations, you know, a piston jab to keep you at range and distance. That's a handful to deal with for a style like Leon Perro. So, you know, it was just, you know, to me, I don't know if he had to fight Hitchison. Was it a mandatory? Because that's a bad style matchup. You know, there's better, what do you call it, matchups for Perro. Then I don't know why they didn't fight him in Australia either. I don't understand that.
Well, you got to ask Eddie Hearn that. In his infinite wisdom, he thought it was better to bring Liam Perro back in front of nobody in San Juan, Puerto Rico. It was dreadful.
You know what? Him being a champion, and you know, Kambosos, Tim Tszyu, no longer champions. You know, he was the star of that country. You know what I mean? He could have drew big over there.
Yep. That would make perfect sense, Gogue. But once again, we're talking about Eddie Hearn outside of the UK market. Look, no offense to Eddie Hearn in the UK market. He knows that like the back of his hand. That's where he grew up. And he's has a proven track record of building attractions in the UK. Very good at it. Just like his Hall of Fame dad. But everywhere else, he's clueless.
Yeah.
There's Bam Rodriguez fighting in Glendale, Arizona and Philadelphia, PA.
Yeah.
And not in San Antonio. That's the best fighter on his stable.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, and Eddie keeps on getting them days from DAZN too. You know what I mean? He's in bed. He's in bed with them guys.
Yeah, you know, and that's the whole reason he doesn't care about. I'm truly convinced of this at this point. He couldn't care less about furthering any fighter's career. He's just interested in getting those TV dates and that 20% off the card. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Because look at what he's doing with Jaron Boots Ennis' career. Look at what he's doing with Shakur Stevenson's career. He's clueless. He doesn't have a clue on how to further their career. In fact, you could go even further and ask, why would he even sign these guys if he doesn't have anyone seriously to match him up? And if that, the only thing that makes sense is that he's only interested in getting more TV dates because he makes 20% regardless.
But, he's going to have some competition next year with Frank Warren getting on the zone. So
that's right.
He's going to grab some of them TV dates.
That's right. And Frank Warren is doing a bang-up job. In my opinion, he is the leading candidate for promoter of the year, in my opinion, with Golden Boy a very close second.
Yeah, I would agree.
Tell you what, man, he's the lead promoter on every Riyadh season event, and we've got a banger coming up. And guys, at the 30-minute mark, we're going to start Gogue's preview. Right now, I want to say hello to our dear friends in the chat. First one up, my brother, JD Spades. Welcome to the show, sir, and thank you for supporting the coach. And also, our brother, Corey Bradshaw from IOTBA. Good to see you, my friend. Merry Christmas, brother. And also, my brother, Jesus Sam. Thank you for joining us last night, Jesus. We appreciate it, my friend. And thank you for rubbing it in Canelo fans' face, pointing out Jaime Munguia wasn't that good to begin with. And also, my brother from Sacramento, your stomping ground coach, G Funky Boxing. Guys, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to my brother, G Funky. Also, my brother in Christ, Alberto. Good to see you, my friend. I'll tell you what, we're going to be going live several times this week. So I hope you can catch more live shows, Alberto. We're going to be promoting our Christmas party and our fight watch party at Speedway Sports Bar in San Antonio, Texas, the Grissom Road location, guys. We're going to have a Christmas party for War Week Boxing. We're also going to have a watch party for the entire fight card. And I'm going to be hosting karaoke and DJing afterwards. How do you like that, guys? It's going to be funny. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Alberto, good to see you, my friend. Love you, brother. And G Funky Boxing says, yep, Hitchens versus Para was a dreadful fight. Oh, boy. Yeah. Styles indeed makes fights. And look, unless he's fighting someone who's going to be forcing the pressure like Subriel Matias at 40 or Pitbull Cruz, I'm no longer interested in seeing Hitchens fight. And so what did he say as soon as the fight was finished, Coach? He said, I want Teofimo Lopez. That's a big fight. That's a lucrative fight. Why do these guys always mention money? No one cares about it. It's a terrible look when you stink out the joint and then you start talking about money immediately. Coach, your thoughts on this, and is this a problem that just needs to come to a screeching halt?
I don't give a fuck. Joe, it's been a problem for a long time. I'm sick of it. That's why, there's not a lot of fan interest in boxing because these fighters, man, you know what I mean? They're not entertaining. They don't give fans their money's worth, and fans don't have no interest to tune the fuck in. That's why ESPN is leaving the sport.
That's it. That's it, guys. And I tell you what, so on ESPN that same night, we saw El Vaquero, Emmanuel Navarrete, oh boy, put forth a brilliant performance against his nemesis from Mexico, Oscar Valdez, former Olympian. Coach Gogue, Oscar Valdez, before the fight leading into it, he said, we've been studying the first fight, and we think we know exactly how to combat this guy and finally beat him. Well, he tried to be the aggressor, fight him behind the high guard, and it just wasn't good enough. And he tasted the canvas as early as round one, never gave up, but he was just beaten into submission. Coach Gogue, your thoughts on the future of Oscar Valdez? And I can say only one thing. It looks a bit brighter than Jaime Munguia, but have we seen the last of Oscar Valdez as well?
When you get destroyed like that, and when the many wars he's been in, yeah, you can say he's towards the back end of his career. When you get knocked out like that, Joe, at his age and like I said, in the wars he's been in, what are you going to do with them? Top Rank, the money he wants, especially Oscar, he's to the point where he only wants big money fights, which he's earned. Excuse me, Joe. It's damn tough tonight.
No, that's all right. I tell you what, if you want to take a break and get a drink of water, we can do that.
Go ahead. Let me get it. Okay. He earned that right to get big money fights, but when you get knocked out like that, you got to rebuild yourself. Now, he's not young no more.
Yep.
He's got a lot of miles on his engine. Can you rebuild a guy like that? And Top Rank, like I said, until they get that big Netflix or wherever, they're going to be scrambling to keep their fighters busy. And, I think, it's going to be hard, Joe, especially when you get destroyed like that. It was one-sided. Navarrete, destroyed him. It wasn't even competitive.
Yep.
And I thought I would see a more competitive fight because, Eddie, his trainer, I thought he would make some adjustments. And, and I thought Oscar would make some adjustments to make it a more competitive fight, but it wasn't. It was worse than the first one. So at his age, with all the high miles on his engine, how you gonna, how you gonna bring him back with the money he wants?
Yep. It's the future doesn't look bright. Now, talking about once again on that same card in the co-main event, well, Robeisy Ramirez puts up the white flag, surrenders to Espinoza. Oh boy. The guy who pulled his best rendition of Rocky Balboa in their first fight. Second one, well, not as compelling and not as dramatic. Coach, did Robeisy Ramirez throw up the white flag because he had indeed made up his mind that he outgrew the division before the fight
Hey, Joe,
began?
Joe,
Yes,
if you watch that fight carefully, the round before, and maybe another round after that, that guy was fighting dirty. He was elbowing him intentionally. All right.
Yeah.
If you watch the fight carefully, he was elbowing him. He would throw, he wouldn't even try to disguise it as like he was going to throw a punch. When he got close, he put that elbow right in his eye and, just turned it over. So it was dirty on his part. So,
yeah, I'm surprised that Robeisy's corner didn't make more of a stink about it because it was obvious.
They should have complained to the damn ref.
Yep.
And Robeisy should have retaliated. I would have hit that motherfucker low. If he would have did that to my guy, I say, hey, this guy's being dirty. Retaliate. Hit him low. All right?
Yep.
Hit him low. Let him know. Because that dude, Espinoza, he hit him with a couple bad elbows, and it affected him. You can see the round before, he hit him with that elbow, and his eyes started, he started blinking and everything, and it affected him. So the next round, between rounds, he was saying he said he was seeing double vision. So when he got hit by that first right hand, he said, fuck it, man. I don't want to lose my vision. So he just threw the white flag up. But he should have been smarter than that, though, man. It's not a good look. You know what I mean? The way you surrender like that and just quit. He should have just finished the round, called the doctor in the ring, and let the doctor make that decision, okay? Not just the way he did it. Nah. That was very unprofessional, and that's not a good look. He should have just finished the round, fought defensively, moved and this and that. Then, sat down during the break, called the doctor, and the doctor would have made that call. He would have told him, I can't see. I see double vision and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what, Coach? That's the difference in having an experienced pro corner and then, having someone who is,
They do got a good corner. They got Ismael Salas. He's a pro corner.
Ismael Salas is one of the smartest trainers in boxing, but I don't think he's been around the block like you have or Coach Ronnie Shields.
Well, like I said, I don't know what happened in that corner and everything. I would have said, he came back to the corner. Oh, you're having problems with I would have called the doctor right there.
Yep.
I would have called the doctor right there, man. Hey, man, he got elbowed the round before. You know what I mean? And he can't see that good. So
Oh, I can only imagine. Could you imagine, guys, if Coach Gogue had been in that corner? Can you imagine the what for? We would have seen the second coming of Stony Stone with James
nah,
Gogue.
Joe, you gotta listen to the fighter, man. Okay.
Of
All right. When
course.
they say they got double vision, if you know your fighter good, you listen to him. You start telling him to go back out there, show balls. Come on, man. You gotta be smarter than that. I wouldn't do that to a fighter, man. I wouldn't jeopardize his health, and I would call the doctor and let him know, hey, he got elbowed the round before with a bad elbow and he's having a problem. And hey, then it looks more, you know what I mean? Then go to the replays, all right? Go to the replays the round before, and they're good at finding it, and they would have seen that elbow, and that would have been more justified than the way he did it. You know what I mean?
Yep, I tell you what, wouldn't mind seeing Rabisi Ramirez versus Oscar Valdez next year. Damaged goods, they might want to call it. Because Rabisi Ramirez is moving up to 130. Let's just face it, guys. He's moving up to 130. And honestly, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that one. That's a great fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a crossroads fight. You know what I mean? You got two guys coming off bad losses.
Yep.
The loser goes home. The winner, goes to get another
Netflix.
payday.
Yep, winner goes to Netflix. I tell you what, though, they're having 10 more events. Guys, it's about time, though. Let's rattle off the tail of the tape for Tyson Luke Fury. The Gypsy King comes into the ring at age 36. He fights out of the orthodox stance. Sometimes he stands about 6'10" tall in the center of the ring, fighting behind an 85-inch reach from Morecambe, Lancashire, United Kingdom. He comes into the ring with a fine record of 34 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. Coach Gogue, what do you expect to see from Tyson Fury in the ring? What are his strengths and weaknesses, sir?
Man, Joe, like I said before on the show, last time we talked about this fight, he's going to make adjustments. He's going to try to get in better shape and all that shit, which he needs to. He's going to, use his jab more effectively. He's going to dig the body shots, I would suspect, because that's where Usyk's weak spot is. But, you go down the stretch and you go to the championship rounds, all the abuse of his body, the prior years, the drinking, the drugs, not being a professional 24/7, taking care of his body, okay, abusing it. It caught up to him his last fight. Okay, you saw it. Yep. Going down the stretch, he was fading, and the other guy was coming on strong, Usyk. So, he can make adjustments to strategy, all that, Joe. But here's the thing: is he going to be able to do it down the stretch? Okay. Well, you're going to need that against a guy like Usyk, okay, to pull ahead. All right. Now, can he win the rematch? I think anything's possible. And if it does, it will set up a third big, huge payday for both. But
yep,
I'm just going, because of his past, the way he abused his body, with drinking, drugs, mental problems, not training, not taking care of himself. You don't get that back. Okay. Once you lose your prime, you don't get it back. And you can make adjustments and all that, have a new game plan and all that. But are you going to be able to execute it, for 12 rounds? Are you going to be able to execute it in the championship rounds where when the fight's close, you got to pull ahead, but you ain't got the conditioning to do it. Okay. But anyway, that's my thought. You know what I mean? That's my thought.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's look at then one Alexander Usyk, the former undisputed heavyweight champion. Now he's without the IBF title, but he's still the lineal unified champion, heavyweight champion of the world. He's going to come to the ring at age 37, Gogue. He fights out of the southpaw stance. He stands 6'3" tall in the center of the ring, fights behind a 78-inch reach. Originally from Crimea, Ukraine. Now he trains and resides out of Oxnard, California. And he comes in the ring with a perfect record. 22 wins, 0 losses, 0 draws, 14 big wins coming by way of knockout. Coach Gogue, what do you expect to see from Alexander Usyk, the machine?
The same way he fought last time. Okay. Intelligent boxer. What do you call it? High boxing IQ. Has the ability to make those adjustments during the fight. Great footwork. Okay. Has, what do you call it? He's trained in the European stand-up, what do you call it? Southpaw fundamentals. Okay. Meaning keeping your lead leg outside of his opponent's lead leg. So he has that advantage of him where you could pivot around him or pivot him at angles and attack him at angles and not stay in the line of fire to get hit by that straight right hand. That's the most important thing. Okay. But his footwork is the key. That's what makes Usyk so effective. His ability to move in and out of range, move in circles, move at angles, makes him a very difficult opponent to get an offensive attack going, to get that momentum, to get into rhythm. Okay. He's got a great jab. He mixes up his punches beautiful. Straight left hand to the body, straight left hand to the head, and he loops it over the top, that left hand. Okay. Beautiful, straight, a beautiful right hook, left hook, a beautiful right hook, straight left hand combination, which he hurt Tyson Fury many times. The last time they fought, especially in the championship rounds. But to me, it's this overall, ring generalship, his boxing IQ, his footwork, his ability to make those adjustments. He's a multi-dimensional fighter. You know what I mean? And he makes up for the size difference that Fury has over him by having all these attributes. Okay, skill, playing chess. Okay, on a high level. Okay, that's what makes Usyk so good. I see, me personally, I see the same. I see the same fight playing out, and maybe Tyson whooping his ass even Usyk whooping Tyson's ass even worse.
Wow. And Coach Gogue, I mean, if you were Sugar Hill Stewart, what would you recommend Tyson Fury do to try and minimize, the assault?
Be physical, get in his face, like he fought Wilder, use his size and advantage, lean on him, push him back. Okay. Get on the inside, throw them short, crisp power punches, the hooks, right hooks, the left hooks, the uppercuts, the body shots. Just keep on him, pushing him back. That's what I would do, just like he fought Usyk. I mean, just like he fought Deontay Wilder. But that motherfucker Wilder is not as skilled or as intelligent or multi-dimensional as this Usyk. Usyk knows how to take that shit away.
And Usyk, you wouldn't change a damn thing, would you?
Let him fight. What the hell are you gonna do to change him? He got this. He got this far on what he does. You know what I mean? Now he's got, what do you call it? A guy like Usyk who has a lot of boxing experience in him, not only in professionals but the amateurs. Second time around, he has more familiarity of fighting a guy like Tyson. What he's gonna do? He'll make better adjustments, and he'll be able to do more things more effectively. He's fought him once, Joe. He's got familiarity. Okay, what Tyson's gonna do, his speed, his power, his size, and all that shit. He's gonna give Tyson. Me personally, I think he's gonna give Tyson Fury a worse ass whooping than the first time. But anyway, we'll see how the fight plays out.
Well, I tell you what, the first fight ended in a split decision. You look at the betting odds, Coach. You look at the betting odds, and it's almost even money again. With Tyson Fury on most racing sports books listed as a plus 140. with Alexander Usyk listed on most. And once again, we always consult the BetMGM out of Vegas. He's listed as a minus 140. That's pretty close to even money. Do you think they have it right once again?
I think it should be more like 3-1 in favor of Usyk.
Wow. I'll tell you what. So I guess we've got Coach Gogue's prediction. So we're going to make this official, though, Coach Gogue, because this is going to be its own segment. Coach Gogue, what is your official prediction for this Saturday's main event from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia? Alexander Usyk defending his titles against Tyson Fury, the big rematch, December 21st.
I just said it, Joe. You know, I don't think I just said it. Come on, man. I mean, shit, we're being redundant. I mean, I don't think Tyson Fury is going to do anything. I don't think it ain't going to, you know, I think it's going to be a more decisive victory for Usyk.
Wow.
Just like Navarrete when he fought Valdez. Second time around, he had more familiarity with Valdez. Okay.
Oh boy.
He made better adjustments than Valdez. He executed his game plan better than Valdez. The same thing with fucking Usyk. It ain't shit that Tyson Fury is going to bring to the table that Usyk hasn't seen before.
You know what? That's a very, very good point. We'll see what happens, guys. It goes down this Saturday. And I have to say, I am absolutely gutted for Sergey Bohachuk. Was supposed to be fighting Israel Madrimov. Now he's fighting Ishmael Davies.
Yeah. He don't be careful. Takes this guy light. He can get his ass whooped too, because that guy ain't got no defense either.
Wouldn't that be something? Say what,
Joe. You get yourself pumped up. Oh man, I'm fighting Madrimov. Oh, all of a sudden, it's a bummer. He pulls out that a lot of that emotional energy just leaves you. Then all of a sudden they bring this guy up. It's hard to get back up to that. That championship level focus. The mental energy, the emotional energy to get ready. To fight again. So he better not take this guy light, because he could be on his ass, or he could get like that one guy that knocked him out before. Remember? I can't remember.
No.
Brian Adams. I can't remember who.
Brandon Adams. Yep. Who just
Brandon Adams? Yeah.
In a war to Andreas Katsarakis, Coach Ronnie's fighter. That was a great fight. Yeah.
Yeah. He got knocked out by Brandon Adams. Okay, because his lack of defense, and his defense is still. It ain't up to par, and I don't know who the hell this fucking Ishmael Davis, but just by that guy that knocked out Munguia, nobody expected him to fucking knock him the fuck out, and look what happened. So,
yep, that is true. That is true. Tell you what, it's a theater of the unexpected, and on the world-class stage, Coach Gogue's right. You better get up for these assignments, or you may be staring at the lights, laying down in center of the ring.
Yeah, you got to be mentally prepared, emotionally prepared. And once you got your mind right and your emotions in check, okay, now the physical will come. They're getting in the top conditioning you need. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, tomorrow we're going to be visiting with our brother Thomas Triber from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and he's going to be in all day in fighter meetings. And so as soon as he gets out, we're going to be visiting with him for about an hour. With my brother Adam Montequillo Lopez as well. But Coach Gogue, I'd be remiss in the final 15 minutes of the show if we didn't get your opinion on, Anthony Joshua electing to duck out of the immediate rematch with autistic power, Daniel Dubois. And instead, Daniel Dubois is going to be taking on Joseph Parker. And this is going to be in the co-main event of the rematch, Arthur Beterbiev, Dmitry Bivol on February 22nd. What a great card. Coach Gogue, do you like this co-main event in the, battle of hungry dark horse heavyweights?
Who's fighting?
Daniel Dubois versus Joseph Parker.
Dubois, he's changed his career a 360. You know what I mean? After he got knocked out by Zhil Zhang, I'm like, man, this guy got no balls. He ain't got no heart,
Yeah.
but he grew some balls. After that loss, he got better. He got meaner. He got tougher. He got, he got more determined. Yeah.
Oh,
So
you mean getting stopped by Alexander Usyk, Daniel Dubois, and then he goes
no,
on to fight
when he
Big
got
Baby.
stopped by Joe Joyce the first time.
Oh, you're talking about Joseph Parker. Yeah. Oh,
No,
you're right.
I'm talking
You're,
about Dubois.
you're right. You're right. You're right. Joseph Parker got stopped by Joe Joyce, claiming the orbital bone fracture.
No,
And
no, no. Dubois got stopped by Joe Joyce.
that's what I just said. He claimed the
Oh, okay.
orbital bone.
You said Joseph Parker getting
Well,
stopped.
they both got stopped by Joe Joyce, the juggernaut.
Oh, okay. Yeah, after that, the way he quit, I'm like, man, this guy got no balls. It was all the easy fights that Frank got him. He never had to face no adversity to build character. All right, coming up. So when when he finally fought a guy that put him in a tough fight, his character showed. But he came back afterwards. You know what I mean? He lost to Usyk, made him a better fighter. Then he came, then he rattled off some good wins against, some good heavyweights and good fights. And now he's a solid world-class heavyweight, okay? And a threat because he's got the mentality now to match his physicality, his physical gifts. Heavy-handed, big right hand can hurt you at any time. Yeah, big, strong, 6'4", 240-pound, 45-pound heavyweight. Yeah. So I see he's changed his career around. Good for him, man. Good for him, man. He just got, he needed that, man. He needed a what do you call it? An attitude adjustment. Okay.
Yep. And then you've got Joseph Parker. Well, he somewhat resurrected his career by outlasting Zhilei Zhang into the final rounds, and Zhilei Zhang was just out of gas. And then he defeated a shot Deontay Wilder who didn't want to let his hands go.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
who do you think wins this fight, Coach Gogue?
Shit, I got to go with Dubois, boy. Coming off a big win over Anthony Joshua, he's got some swagger. You know what I mean? He's got some, a high degree of confidence. His attitude. Okay, I got to go with Dubois. Big puncher. Big strong jab. Yeah. I think, I got to go with him. And I haven't studied none of these guys. I'm just going by what I feel right now.
And then Zhilei Zhang is on the card. He's going to be taking on Ajit Kabale, the guy who destroyed Frank Sanchez in his last fight. And boy, he is hungry, but he's taking on probably the best heavyweight for 5 rounds, possibly in the world. Your thoughts on this matchup, Coach Gogue?
Yeah, just survive the survive the first half of the fight, then take Zhang in the second. Take him in the back half of the fight, especially in the down the stretch in the championship rounds. Then he'll be fine.
And then you've got on the same card Shakur Stevenson, taking on the kid from San Antonio, Kid Austin, Floyd Schofield Jr. Coach, do you like this fight at all? Or
it's
is he
a
just
fucking
too
mismatch.
green? Yep.
It's a mismatch. This kid ain't got no business. That Schofield ain't got no business in the ring with Shakur.
Nope.
You saw him his last fight. He's real green. He had a problem with that guy, Renee Tejas, tough, physical veteran from my neck of the woods. He had, he got put on his ass. He couldn't handle that hard pressure. But Shakur is a different type of fighter. He's on a totally different level, man. Schofield's gonna get his ass whooped. He'll get a payday though, over $1 million. So
and there it is. And last but not least, Virgil Ortiz taking on former champion Israel Madrimov. Coach Gogue, he's not going to apply hard pressure like Sergey Boachuk did to Virgil Ortiz. What do you see in this matchup? I know you haven't studied any of these, but Virgil Ortiz, is he going to look like the Virgil Ortiz of old? against Israel Madrimov, former champion.
That Madrimov is, he's a tricky guy, in and out. He's got that little, you know what I mean, herky jerky style. A different fight, a hard fighter to figure it out. You know what I mean? And guy like that, it's gonna give Virgil a hard time because Virgil, he's only good when you're right in front of him. Okay, when you come right at him, but you have a style like that with a guy that moves in and out of range, and a guy that has a huge amateur background. You know what I mean? Fought out every type of style out there. This kid is to me, this kid is green. He's had too many easy fights. Okay, he hasn't had the this experience in the pros yet. Ortiz, or even in the amateurs, he turned pro at 18, so he didn't get to, face a lot of the European competition or the international competition, just national competition. But this guy, Madrimov, man, he ain't got a lot of fights, but he's got a lot of amateur fights, 300-400 probably. And he's fought at the international level. Okay. And that's like a guy having 50-60 fights, okay, on his resume. So me personally, if Virgil don't hurt this guy, that Madrimov's going to give him a hard fight, because of just a difficult style to figure out. You know what I mean? And sneaky right hand. But one thing with Madrimov, he don't put his combinations together, man. He throws one punch at a time. That's going to be his downfall if he fights Ortiz.
Indeed. I tell you what, I'm really intrigued for this fight. I'm really intrigued for the entire card. And let's look at the main event of the evening, the rematch between Arthur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. Coach Gogue, in the remaining 5 minutes of the show, do we have are we going to see a carbon copy of the first fight? Is there anything Dmitry Bivol can do or improve upon to better his chances of getting the victory this time?
He ain't going to get any better from last fight to this fight. This guy's just so physically insanely strong to keep him up. As soon as he hits him, I think Bivol will have a better time. See, this when you face a guy the first time, you're not familiar with him, but second time around, you're more familiar with his style, what he does, and everything. Okay, his timing, his rhythm, the way he moves, the way just the way he sets up his offense, his defense, and all that. Now there's Beterbiev, a guy with another big amateur background. He knows how to adapt to make those adjustments. He's had 12 rounds in the ring with this guy, so the second time around, he'll be better. He'll be better prepared to fight that type of a difficult style Bivol he brings.
Yep, I tell you what, and we spoke with John Scully a couple weeks ago, and he stated to me, he said, there's so many things that we can improve upon, we can do better. I don't see that there's anything that Bivol can do better. In fact, I see it just getting a lot worse for him. And I don't see him reaching the final bell this time.
Well, same thing I was saying. I haven't talked to Scully. What he's saying is what I haven't talked to Scully, but what he's saying is the same shit I'm saying. Am I right? So
that's right. That's right. Yeah. That's why I'm saying great minds think alike. I tell you what.
Yeah, I mean, he ain't gonna get much better. I don't train the motherfucker. Beterbiev or Bivol. I don't see him in the gym, but I'm just going from my head. Scully, he trains the guy. He can see what he needs to do to get better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I tell you what. Is there anything else that you'd like to cover or talk about before we bid everyone an excellent Sunday evening?
Not really. There's no more fights. That was a bummer that Inoue's opponent pulled out. So, we got to wait until next year. See the great card February 22nd. There's no fights in January, I don't think. I like to, next year's gonna be interesting. I got to see where Top Rank, where their new home is, where they're gonna land at. Okay, with their new addresses, and just just hopefully, man. This Turkey Al-Ashi, I got to give him credit. that money they're spending on these fights, he's bringing some excellent fights to the table. So, yeah, I like to see, man. I like to see what's happening and everything. And PBC, oh, geez, they might have a sunken ship.
Sorry, I hit the wrong button. My apologies. Go ahead, Coach.
And PBC might. I don't know what's going on. You know more than me. You know what the situation with Al is, and I don't know. Like I said, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. A lot of good, boxing. You can make a lot of great matchups. Okay. But are the fighters and the promoters that represent them, are they willing to make those matchups? We'll see.
Well, it's pretty obvious that Canelo is not interested in fighting the available best or the most lucrative in terms of fights, because he still makes money fighting guys like Munguia and Berlanga. And,
yeah.
And unfortunately, it looks like the leading candidate, because he's not going to fight Crawford because he doesn't want to negotiate with that guy, and I can't blame him. So it looks like we may be seeing, finally, Canelo Alvarez versus Jermall Charlo. Coach Gogue, does anyone want to see this fight? And will it sell?
Canelo's act is getting old, okay? There's only so much you can do to the public to take their money without giving the fights they want, okay? Everybody wants the winner of Benavidez Morrell. Canelo probably won't take that. He'll keep milking these fights until, nobody else gives him the money he wants and everything. So yeah, but when his pay-per-view numbers start going down, then you'll start really seeing his decline. Right now you see his physical decline. He's not the same, okay? All right, he's not the same fighter he was when he was in his prime. But he's still driving good numbers at the box office and the pay-per-view numbers. But once that starts going downhill, once the public's, the paying customer, they're the bosses. And once they quit, supporting them, then things change. You don't have the leverage. He ain't gonna have the leverage like like when he was in his prime.
Yep. I tell you what, the last thing we're gonna say is Jesus M brings up, he says, Joe, is the Inoue card canceled? No, it was originally slated for December 24th. Now it has been moved a month back. So now we're going to be getting it January 24th against Sam Goodman, who had to push this back, claiming an injury to his eye. So it's going to be on January 24th, Inoue versus Goodman, right? And there it is. I tell you what, Coach Gogue, your parting shots for our listening audience, and we want to thank you and take this opportunity to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Coach Gogue, it's been a crazy good year, surprisingly, for boxing. It's had its ups and downs, but please give our extended family what you have to be thankful for this year, 2024, my friend.
Oh, thankful. I still got good health. Okay, that's number one. I don't give a fuck how much money you make, or how good everything's doing in boxing, or bad, or whatever. My health is number one at the age I'm getting. So I try to, change my habits in my eating. You know what I mean? And all the stuff. I don't drink or smoke, or do drugs or that. So I don't abuse my body like Tyson Fury, or you know what I mean? I try to leave a clean, healthy lifestyle, and that's number one. Is thankful for my health. Thank God for my health, and hopefully, God willing, my health continues to stay in tip-top condition. But just thank God, for everything. There's always something to be grateful for. You know what I mean? So, because a lot of people in the world don't have it as bad as a lot of people. You think you got it bad. Well, okay. There's a lot of people out there that got it worse. But anyway, just thank everybody all year for tuning in. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Be safe. And let's get ready for next year. And hopefully we can have some good fights next year.
And there it is. There it is. I tell you what, Coach Gogue is going to be taking a well-deserved vacation. Also going to be taking care of some business for the next 2 weeks. So this is going to be Coach Goge's final show for 2024. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Jesus M, though, he says, Coach, when is your next bout?
Next year, come January, beginning of January, we'll start planning our schedule. Hopefully in March, maybe April. I want to get both my fighters a minimum 3 fights next year each, hopefully 4. Keep my guys busy. There's nothing like activity. Activity is a fighter's best friend. Okay, inactivity is a fighter's worst enemy. You got to keep your fighter active. You got to keep his tools sharp. Okay. Unfortunately, you don't see that in boxing nowadays.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Say what, I'd be remiss also if I didn't give a big shout out to my brother in Christ, Big Luke. How you doing, my friend? Merry Christmas to you. And dude, call me tomorrow, Luke. I would appreciate if you called me tomorrow in your free time, my friend. God bless you, my brother. And we love you, man. It's good to see you on here. But guys, that's just going to about do it. On behalf of the great Coach James Gogue, I'm Joseph Herron. You've been listening to Warwick Boxing. Have a great evening, everybody.
W.A.W Holdings proudly presents Warwick Radio with 5-decade fight trainer, Coach James Gogue.